Hi, I'm Judy Say Willis, and I want to demonstrate a few of the Shibori techniques. Shibori is Japanese resist type of techniques, and they can be very basic or very complicated. I want to show you a few real basic ones today, so if you decide you want to take advantage of the community indigo vats, that you can try a little of this before you go and see how it comes out. There are several different things that I'm going to be showing as far as tools are concerned. The first one I'll show you is these little circles on this been dyed in indigo are nothing more than a marble. See, I've got a few marbles here. Some hair bands. I got them at the store in the hair department. I used to get orthodontic rubber bands. They're about the same size, but you just put the marble under the cloth and run the rubber band around it. Oops, there goes one on the floor. And where you put the rubber band, that's what's going to, the dye can't get to that place, so it's going to stay white. And I'll just put, 2 or 3 of them in so you can see what's done. And you can use, I'm demonstrating this with indigo. This was just white cloth, and then I dyed it in the indigo vat a couple of times to get this medium color blue. Took the rubber bands off, and you can see, you've got this little design in the circles. The rubber bands, you can take them off. I usually get a little scissors, a sharp scissors, and just cut them free. So that's one thing that's very easy to do, and you get some design out of it. The other things are that I have out here, tongue depressors. You can pick these up in the craft stores. I'm not sure what they call them in the craft store. Or when you go to Menards or the paint store, get some extra paint sticks, and I'll show you how I've used those. The next thing I'm going to show you is doing some folding and the designs you can get from the folds. One of the things I like to do is use some paper to practice. This piece of paper, I've done an accordion fold. I fold it in half to start with, and then I do a quarter, and then I fold it back and forth to get the accordion fold. This is a napkin that I've done that with to start with. You see, I've got it in the center. That's 2 large accordion folds. With this particular one, I've done, this is easier to see with this. This piece has been folded down, and then I do a flag fold, like so. And you can practice this till you feel pretty confident when you're using paper. I didn't use paper when I first started out, and I get quite irritated when I can't get the folds exact. And of course, I use an iron, and I iron them. But this one you can kind of see where the folds were. This is just a flag fold again. This has gotten a little off kilter, but you get the idea. If you look at it, you can see where the white is. It pretty much lines up with doing the flag fold back and forth. Then I use tongue depressors and put one on each side, lining them up. And then I use rubber bands to secure the tongue depressors. and however many times around to get it snug. And then when you put it in the indigo vat, you can dip it as many times as you want, leaving the tongue depressor on. And again, when you're all done, you remove it, and where the tongue depressor was, you've got the white, and that's where the design comes in. So let's just review this really quick again. It's a flag or an accordion fold to start with, and then it's a flag fold, remember, like so. And some people can work the flag fold on top or underneath, however it works best for you. So, and there we are. Let's take a look at another piece with the fold. This is a scarf. This is a cotton and silk, and I really like the cotton and silk with shibori and indigo. But this may look fairly complex, but it really isn't. It's even easier than the last one we did. But you see, we've got a flag fold again. It's only 3 sections, but once we get it flag folded, something looks familiar. Let's see if we do this. What I've done with this one is I figured it out beforehand that if I started at the very end, I would end up at the other end with too much fabric. So I started, it's about 2 inches from the end when I started the flag fold. Not the flag fold. And I've got something stuck in the middle. Oh, a rubber band. Okay, so you can see where I placed the fold. In the next fold. Now I can just go back and forth. And like I said, I would be pressing the folds as I go. So I do this at the ironing board, which I have used in here for a coat rack. And you can see where the white pretty much lines up. So what did I do to get this? Well, couldn't have used these, those are too short. So I could use the paint stirrers, which is what I did. And when you go to line up the paint stirrers here, you can, this doesn't have to be exactly this way, so you can shift it around. But I do the same thing here. I use the rubber bands and tighten it on both ends. Go through the dyeing process, and I just take the rubber bands off and the paint sticks. And when I open it up, you'll see pretty much exactly how it was folded. That's with paint sticks from the paint store. So we've used rubber bands, paint sticks, tongue depressors, and marbles. Another quick, easy thing with a small laundry bag or some pantyhose or something such as that. This is a bandana. And this, you can kind of see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. So that's nothing more than drawing it up, putting a rubber band on in 4 places. course, your hands have to be working really good. Just to get us started, I'll put one of these little ones on. And then you put one down a little further. In every place that you put a rubber band, it will pull it up tight, and the die won't be able to get at that spot very well. Gives you some interesting designs. I'm not getting these real tight today, but you get the idea. And then I could put one down farther. And tighten it. And then one down where my hand is. So after it's dyed and you take it apart and look at it, you'll see what was done. Looks kind of fancy, but it's really simple. And you try to get the creases even, as you're rubber banding it. So that's another quick and easy design with rubber bands. So just a little bit of blue and a design. And again, this piece, you can see it starts out with an accordion fold. You could do, this is a lightweight fabric, so you could do several folds and still get nice even distribution. And if you look at it, you can see it's been flag fold. We should have music.
I am going to. I'm going to put a little music while we do this.
Okay. Now I would have ironed this so it would have been neat and tidy, but you can, remember the design, you look like a triangle. What did I use? Well, I have a friend that cut me these big chunks of wood. It's a big C-clamp. And I'll secure it in each of the corners. And you can see, if I had 3 of them on there, it'd just be the edges of it would be showing. So it's only, the wooden triangle is keeping the die from getting into the center of the piece. So you just get the edges. So when you take it apart, after it's been dyed, you get a lovely piece like this. And you can see where the triangle fit. And like I say, I like the light, airy look of this piece for summer. This would make a great top, great blouse, anything. I think I got this piece because somebody said they wanted some summer curtains made out of it. So that's that one. This piece I brought just to show you. It's a smaller square, and this is just accordion folded, was folded in half. I've done something else on this piece, but I wanted to try to do something where I got a square with a frame so I could do something else in the center of it. Yep, it's this one. It's always nice to have two pieces of wood cut exactly the same size if you're doing this. And you can see on the top that I've used the smaller C-clamps to secure it in place and hold it. And I use metal C-clamps with indigo. If I'm doing shibori and I'm doing it in a dye in a pot, I don't want this metal to be cooked in with the dye material, so I have some big plastic ones. I prefer to use the metal ones. So I have about 3 or 4 different sizes of C-clamps. So when you take this apart, then you see you've got just the square design. It's a little different than the triangles, but this is an experiment, and I'm kind of anxious to keep playing with this. If you like to stitch, I have a needle and thread ready to go here. All I've done with this is going to be a whip stitch, and you can tighten it up, and so there's going to be a line that will be, you won't be able to get the dye into, so it'll be kind of white, but because it's a whip stitch, it'll have kind of a wave to it. And I just use a double thread, regular sewing thread, usually polyester sewing thread, and do like 1/4 of an inch down, over the top, and then when you go the full length, you can tighten it up, and you can see where it's at, and that will be a white line or a white decorative where you've kept the dye from getting into the fabric. There are many stitching techniques that you can use. This happens to be one, and you can, if you're interested in this type of thing, I'll be doing some classes in Shibori that's going to go into the stitch resist. I showed you a quick circle with the rubber bands and this large piece. This is done the same way, except thread is used where we used rubber bands. This is again the cotton and silk. And it was kind of pale. I wanted it to have a little more color like the other one I showed you. And again, this is nothing more than, let's see, we've got the accordion pleats. I haven't pressed this since I redid it. And you can see it looks like it's just been an accordion fold the other way. Yep. You can see how much easier this would be if I had my iron and ironing board out here. Maybe that's a good thing that you can see. You're getting the idea, I'm sure, as you're watching me fold it. Like, oh, I see what's being done there. And you can see the white is going to end up at the corner. You can see some blue lines because the indigo snuck in there. But then I have these wooden blocks, and they fit across the end. Get a little bit of color in the tips. And again, you line them right up over each other. And I would have used, the larger C-clamps with these, and done the same thing I did with the other ones. Put the C-clamps on the end, tighten it down, and as we unfold it, you can pretty much see what we just did. That's the thing that's so magical about some of the Shibori block resist. You know, you would look at that and think, well, that's really cool. Wonder how it was done. Well, it's only 2 different folds. Back and forth, back. So we'll be doing more Shibori workshops and videos, but since we're doing the community indigo bats this summer, I thought it would be a good idea to demonstrate just a few basics that you can do with pieces you have around the house. The one thing I've got out here that I didn't do, and I don't have a sample, but you can picture it, just plain clothespins. If you fold it and put clothespins down the fold and dye it like this, you're going to end up with little white spots, little tracks. And they always look, you know, you do 2 or 3 here or there, and it always looks kind of mysterious, like it's just tracks. Thank you for joining me, and I hope I see you at one of the community indigo bats this summer. There are going to be one at the Paradise Center for the Arts in Faribault, and also the Northfield Arts Guild, and the 50 North Senior Center in Northfield. And there may be more scheduled, but that's what we have so far. Thank you.